Well, it looks like Chris Paul is coming home. Welcome into Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Oslin. Good to be with you guys. Just had some breaking news as Lawrence Frank is having a press conference currently, speaking with the media on a Zoom call. The impetus for this was the signing of Bradley Beal, but much more was said by Lawrence Frank today on this Zoom call. Let's go through it together. Lawrence Frank opened the meeting by saying the Clippers tried to trade for Bradley Beal twice previously. Quote, third time's the charm. Having some fun with it. Cited how the Clippers need secondary playmaking and ball handling as a reason for targeting Bradley Beal, noting the turnover issues the Clippers had this past season, and they did, many of them, especially before Kawhi Leonard came back. They were bottom five in that category for a long time. Speaking of Kawhi, Lawrence Frank said the Clippers are in a position to start the season with a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Said that while he was doing this media availability, James Harden was currently working out at Intuit Dome right now. Let me see if I can pull up some more of these reporters' tweets here. That was from Law Murray. Let me get Justin Rousseau's because everybody adds a little bit of their own flavor to it. Let me see. Lawrence Frank said we have the ability to play Kawhi Leonard at the 3 or the 4. Said they can do the same thing with Derrick Jones Jr. And John Collins has an option to play the 4 and the 5. Big. This was really cool to see. James Harden, according to Lawrence Frank, quote, spent 30 minutes on the phone with Bradley Beal's agent, Mark Bartelstein, talking about the fit for Beal in Los Angeles with the Clippers and how they can play together. The negotiator, James Harden. You have a top 75 player ever now recruiting for this organization. That's incredible. Speaks volumes to how far they've come under the leadership of Steve Ballmer, his front office, coaching staff, the players in the locker room that are making this happen. Really cool to see. Lawrence Frank says that James Harden's contract structure allowed the Clippers to get both Brook Lopez and Bradley Beal, credits Harden and Kawhi Leonard for their partnership. Quote, without James, we can't even get Brad Beal because we wouldn't have the use of the full mid-level exception. Frank mentioned being able to acquire Brook Lopez as a result of this as well. Frank called Harden proactive in the pursuit of Beal by calling Beal. More from Lawrence Frank on Bradley Beal. Quote, the way we look at players like Brad is what they can be, not what they are. What I said in his statement is what I meant. I do think Brad is a two-way player because he's capable of doing it and he's capable of being it. So they're already setting the standard. Hey, what I said in the press release, the statement that was out there from Lawrence Frank talking about Bradley Beal being a two-way player, they are putting that goal and motivation out there and dangling that carrot. Brad, we believe in you. You can do it on both ends of the floor. That's awesome to see. Now, getting to the title of this video. Lawrence Frank, when asked if they're going to sign Chris Paul, quote, what I'd say about Chris is he's a great player. He's a great Clipper. Of course, we're strongly considering him. Frank said Paul possesses some of the qualities he's referenced that the team needs. Lawrence Frank, again, I'll reiterate, says that the Clippers are strongly considering Chris Paul. At this point, guys, I'd be shocked if they don't get him. Truly. There's way too much smoke. Him talking about it today solidified it to me. Something would really have to go sideways and go wrong for them not to end up with CP3. Lawrence Frank mentioned that they've learned from those lessons about having too many players who need to play and the issues that can present. Frank said that players who will join from now on have to understand it's a reserve role for them. Stresses the role definition and communication is key for potential additions, that it is a reserve role and the Clippers need insurance for the starters. Because as he mentioned, Clippers currently have 10 rotation players and Tyronn Lue usually plays 9. So they are making sure that they are being upfront and transparent about what the role would be for some of these guys they're bringing in and the guy they're strongly considering in CP3. This is what the role would be. Lawrence Frank also talked about how Bradley Beal is elite at handoffs, best in points per possession last season on handoffs. To be specific, Justin Russo, he put that in his article recently. Check that out at his Substack. He outlined it beautifully, how Bradley Beal can be used. Nobody was better in handoffs. Lawrence Frank said that's what Tyronn Lue wanted to get more movement involved in the offense going forward, and Beal can help them with that. So they're looking at him as a guy with those dribble handoffs and handoffs. He mentioned it multiple times. Handoffs were key to getting Norman Powell downhill and set plays, Law Murray said, and it looks like the Clippers expect to continue that with Bradley Beal, if not increase it. As for the elephant in the room, Lawrence Frank joked about the age of the Clippers roster, saying, quote, "What's age? It's just a number, right?" You have to address it. He also mentioned that Chris Dunn is capable of being the Clippers' backup point guard. Also mentions other players who can handle and play starter duties. So he mentioned Chris Dunn, capable of being the Clippers' backup point guard. Bradley Beal is going to start, guys. There's no question about that. There's no doubt about it. Let me see if there's anything else I missed from some of the great reporters we have there. I'm reading from Justin Russo and Law Murray. Let's see what Joey Lynn is emphasizing on his line on X. Let's see. Lawrence Frank did mention when talking about the age of the team, Bradley Beal is younger than Norman Powell, and Brook Lopez is ageless, despite being 37. Joey Lynn said, I asked Lawrence Frank where the Clippers see minutes for another reserve guard like Chris Paul in a rotation that includes James Harden, Bradley Beal, Chris Dunn, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Here's his full answer. Quote, role awareness, especially in this next roster spot, will be critical. When you look at it, you have 10 quality rotation players right now. We typically play 9. What we've seen is the problem of potential what we have seen is the problem of potentially having too many guys and how that can impact the team. So we've learned from those lessons, and I think the conversations that we have with anyone who is going to join the Clippers next, they understand it's a reserve role. They understand going into camp exactly what it looks like. So there are no preconceived misconceptions. He added the Clippers have a responsibility to take care of James Harden after he played 79 games in the 5th most minutes last season. Also noted the need for playable depth given how infrequently NBA teams have their entire roster available. So there you go. They're putting it very plainly about the pecking order. about going in with eyes wide open, knowing what you're getting into with this Clippers team when you come here, and they're defining your roles from the outset. That's great to see. Frank also said, quote, when you're in the second apron, to me, you have to be a Final Four team. I'm not sure what the question was there or what exactly he's referencing. Obviously, the Clippers are not in the second apron. Looks like he said to get back in the second apron, you have to be confident that you're a Final Four team. So for them to go all in, I guess, with spending that much money over the tax to get into the second apron, which would take away the mid-level exception. I mean, none of these things happen if they were in the second apron. In fact, he said when Paul George decided to go to Philly, it created optionality for us, which was true. We said it right away. The national media didn't really pick up on that. It opened up the full mid-level exception. It got them done. It got them DJ. It got them Batum back immediately. They pivoted beautifully when Paul George left. Remember, they brought in DJ right away. So I guess this was a question about spending and different tiers in the CBA and how they view them. And I agree. Like, if you're going to be in the second apron, you better be damn sure you're a Final Four team. The Phoenix Suns were in the second apron. They were not a Final Four team. Boston was. They were. That's what is demanded. Here's more on that. Lawrence Frank, on his last 12 months that have seen the Clippers duck under that second apron and being able to add a host of players as a result, quote, you never quite know who exactly it's going to turn into, but you have to put yourself into a position where those guys are options. He also said, we're always going to be competitive. We're always trying to win. That's something that's been talked about, of course, by Steve Ballmer. There was an event a couple of years ago, season ticket holders, where he said that they don't ever want to tank. They don't ever want to bottom out. They want to be competitive. Now, maybe if they had their picks, it could be viewed a little bit differently. But I believe, yes, they want to win all the time. Win it how high of a level, though? Are you willing to go into the second apron? That's where the nuance comes in. When are those times where you're going to spend more or face the penalties of going in to the first and second apron? It's obviously not happening right now. And the way they built this team while not going into the second apron is incredible. Lawrence Frank has cooked. In fact, I posted a new picture of Lawrence Frank cooking a little bit earlier. The pan is on fire because the moves have been from Lawrence Frank. He has been tremendous all summer long, guys. He was great last summer. Again, pivoting, creating a defensive culture with this team by the moves they made last summer. And now, look at what he's done. Brook Lopez, John Collins, Bradley Beal, and it looks like Chris Paul is coming next. The homecoming appears to be inevitable. Again, they are strongly considering Chris Paul. I think he's coming back, guys. I think he's doing his swan song with the Clippers. Remember, he's already announced that this will be his final season. Everybody knows him as a Clipper. That's how he's going to be remembered most in his career. It makes sense that he would finish off his NBA career as a Clipper. And it makes sense that he can do so with a team that, I'm going to say right now, things break the right way for them, they can be in that inner circle of contenders. They have enough talent. Championship expectations are back on the menu, boys. This Clippers team is loaded. It doesn't mean they're the favorites, but they have a puncher's chance again. They do. I don't think that's a bold statement. I don't think that's a hot take. I think it's plain and obvious that this team, with the way they have loaded up this summer, they have a shot. And that's all you can ask for. Doesn't mean they're better than the champs in OKC, but are they close to being where Denver is and Houston? I think so. I think you can say that now. And you get in a 7-game series, anything can happen when you have this much talent, when you have this level of optionality, different ways to play, the versatility with this group. I am excited. And should CP3 join the Clippers again, I will welcome him with open arms. If or when it becomes official, we'll do a show on that. I don't want to get over my skis or anything yet. Count your chickens before they hatch. But with Lawrence Frank addressing it in that way, I just don't see. It would be Chris Paul's decision, most likely, not to come here at this point. Again, the quote from Lawrence Frank on Chris Paul: he's a great player. He's a great Clipper. He possesses some of the qualities we just referenced. We're strongly, strongly considering him. For him to address it today at a press conference for Bradley Beal, that is telling. All the reporting, all the smoke surrounding CP3 for weeks, everything's pointed in that direction. And I love the fact that he made it clear you're in a reserve role, you are insurance. That's how this needs to be viewed. Again, he said, we've learned from those lessons about having too many players who need to play and the issues that can present. Frank said that players who will join from now on have to understand it's a reserve role for them. That doesn't mean CP3 can't help this team. His ball handling, his ability to run an offense, even at the age of 40, guys, I don't think you understand just how good he still was last year while playing all 82 games. I know a lot of people were like, how does he end up playing 82 games at the age of 40 when he couldn't do it with the Clippers back when he was 28? Well, he did it while playing 28 minutes per game last season, CP3. Just 9 points, but 7 assists per game. 7 assists to 1.6 turnovers. Crazy assist to turnover ratio there. 7-1. That's something this team can really use. And to give James Harden and to keep his legs fresh, to give him more rest, to keep his legs fresh, it makes sense to me. As long as everybody knows their role and they're making that clear now, it makes a hell of a lot of sense. If you're wondering about his per 36 numbers last season, 12 points per game, 9.5 assists to 2 turnovers. He shot 38% from 3 as a member of the Spurs too. He was good. He's always impactful. He is always a net positive out there, it feels like. In fact, from 2009 to 2020, Chris Paul's teams were 13.1 points per 100 possessions better with him on the court. He's the point guard. He's the best point guard to have not won a championship to this point to me. But he's got one more year, and it looks like he could have one more shot with this Clippers group. Even Bastian Schweinsteiger saying Harden CP3 reunion unfinished business, chills down my spine. Has James Harden's leadership been acknowledged? Guy walks into the franchise and starts recruiting like it's his day job, special year ahead. Oh, we talked about it last summer when he was doing the private workouts that he organized in Arizona. James Harden has been a great Clipper, guys. I know some of you just want to bring up Game 7. It's like, well, what about Game 6? That was an elimination game. He played 47 minutes. James Harden, he has been great for this organization. And recruiting Bradley Beal like this, wow. The difference maker, the negotiator. Of course, if he didn't believe in the front office and what the Clippers were doing, he wouldn't stick his neck out for the franchise like this and say, this is why you need to be a Clipper. This is awesome. No, Norm cannot play off the dribble like Bradley Beal, creating for himself or for others. I'm sorry. I love Norm Powell, but he can't create for himself and he can't create for others like Bradley Beal. It's not close. And those are two pretty significant areas. I love Norm, but Bradley Beal is a different level of self-creator. Ant said, this team is better than last year's playoff team. Add CP3 and let's fight for a ring. Lolidlio C now said, Mr. Frank did a wonderful job with this Clippers roster. He said like, but I'm going to interpret that he means job. We got a troll in here. Denver beat the Clippers and Lakers back to back. They own LA. Denver trolls have been coming after me a lot recently. Did you guys see this? I posted this while watching the game on Thursday night against Denver, but there was a guy coming after me over and over again. Anytime I post in my thread for that fourth Summer League game, as the Clippers were struggling, I said, Lord, he says, Denver owns you. I said, guys, he said, Denver owns you. I said, it really shows how much they miss in Yannick. That's my story here. That's what I'm sticking to. Denver owns you. This guy, CT Hansen, is that who's in the chat now? Just trolling left and right. Act like you've been there before, Denver. When's the last time Beal played winning basketball while Norman was on the Raptors and won? I mean, Beal's had a much bigger role on teams. Look, legend. I'm just gonna keep this receipt right here. So remember that. Mental note. I ain't gonna forget what you said. Calling out Beal like this. Bastian said, also enormous respect to Lawrence Frank for trusting James and empowering him. Hashtag Daryl Morey is a liar. And said, we better than Denver and the Lakers. The Clippers run LA. Check the record over the last 15 years. Clippers are something like 38-10 the last 48 games against the Lakers. It's something crazy. Basically since like 2012. You're right, Goofy. Welcome to the internet. Laughing my ass off. You mix the internet and sports fans, you get the most annoying experience at times. It's all good. It's not annoying to me. What happened with Valanciunas? It looks like he's going to Denver. Reluctantly, maybe. But it looks like it's happening. But Lawrence Frank, to reset here, spoke with the media. Oh, it looks like we have some sound here. All right, I'm going to play this for you guys. Tomer Azarli recorded some of the Zoom call. Is that legal? Yes, I think everybody was aware. And I think this was Lawrence Frank speaking about CP3. Glad he put this out. Here we go. Coming from Tomer Azarli, our friend.
Lawrence, are you going to sign Bradley Beal? I mean, you signed Bradley.
Yes, we signed him. Done.
You did sign Bradley Beal. Are you going to sign Chris Paul?
What I'd say about Chris is he's a great player. He's a great Clipper. He obviously possesses some of the qualities we just referenced about, and of course we're strongly considering him.
You want to hear it one more time?
I mean, You signed Bradley.
Yes, we signed him. Done.
You did sign Bradley Beal. Are you going to sign Chris Paul?
What I'd say about Chris is he's a great player. He's a great Clipper. He obviously possesses some of the qualities we just referenced about, and of course we're strongly considering him.
Like I said before, how does this not happen? You'd set people up to be disappointed if he doesn't come now. Nothing's a sure thing till he signs. Not till Lawrence Frank says, yes, we signed him, referring like he did to Bradley Beal there. When he says that for CP3, it's a done deal, it's official. God, I love Lawrence Frank. I'm a big fan, but it looks inevitable, guys. It is Thanos at this point. CP3, it looks like he's coming back to the Clippers. This is exciting. So you got James Harden, your main ball handler. You got Bradley Beal. You have Chris Dunn. You have Chris Paul. You have Bogey who can handle the ball a little bit. All of a sudden, what was a weakness for this team looks like it's turning into a strength. That's how you win the offseason. This is an all-time legendary run by Lawrence Frank with everything he's doing. Clipper Chaos 3 said, he's got the 3 in there. That is a discussion. Bradley Beal wears 3. CP3 wears 3. Who's getting the number 3 for the Clippers? CP3 should maybe just, when guys, I think Dion did this when he came back to the Ravens. He wore his age. What might have been 38 at the time. Chris Paul maybe should go with the number 40. Just show, hey, when he's going to his right on that mid-range on the right elbow and knocking it down, you just got cooked by a 40-year-old. Just to let everybody know. Oh, God damn. Tuca is just annihilating me. Hey, why don't you show him what you're doing to me? Oh, now you're not going to. Oh, there it is. You see this? You see the respect I get or lack of? Get off me. Chill out. We're trying to celebrate here. Tuca is killing me. All right, the trolls are in here. Fire Lou. Get out of here with that nonsense. Lou is the right guy for this job, finding the right mix, the right lineups, the right way to do this. CMB said, good moves by Frank. Can't really put him at fault. He's done his best, but we are still first round exits with Ty Lue. The reason we lost against Denver was because of Lou, not because of Frank. I don't think Coach Lue had a great series, but it was more than just Coach Lue. There's a lot of blame to go around. Anyone that blames one person for losing a series is a low context casual to me. I'm sorry. It's never about one thing or one person. You gotta implement a little bit more well-rounded context. Contextualize it, please. Goopy said, Adam, you think DJ and John Collins is athletic enough to carry the load needed for effort and rebounding if everyone else is old? Are you going to mention Ivica Zubats? Didn't he lead the league in total rebounds last year? Yeah, I think John Collins, who's a really good offensive rebounder, can help. Remember, the Clippers led the league in defensive rebounding percentage last year. Defensive rebounding percentage, they were number 1. Offensive rebounding, they were like 20th, where they've been over the years. John Collins can help with that area. Even game 4 is not solely because of Coach Lue. What about the players starting so slow? I heard what Coach Lue said pregame. They need to come out the same way they did in game 3. They need to bring that intensity. And the players came out lackadaisical. So no, it's not solely on Coach Lue for why they got down by 20. That's on players. Kawhi having that turnover to start game 4. I got a memory. I watched it. I know what happened. I'm not blaming one person. That's crazy. Yeah. And all the people who want to give Jeff Van Gundy the credit when anything good happens because he's the defensive coordinator, yet they say nothing about blaming him when on a defensive possession at the end of the game, who the guys were that were in. You can't run things like that. Why aren't they responding to him? Did they respond to him when they came back down 20? Does he get credit for that? Like, you can't just pick and choose. Anything good happens, you give credit to Jeff Van Gundy. Anything bad happens, you blame Coach Lou. It's weak. It's tired. Not interested in that conversation. I'm interested in talking about Chris Paul, who played all 82 games last season and was 77th in the 77th percentile of estimated plus minus, which you can look up the stat, but he was impactful and effective this past season. He's in his last year. He's home. His main desire was wanting to come home. It looks like he's coming home. He also not only gets to come back to LA, not only gets to play for the Clippers, but gets to play for a Clippers team that is playing for something. This team has championship aspirations again. This team believes. This offseason was far too good. Far too good of an offseason not to feel like you can be a contender this year. A lot of things have to go right. They are an older team. They have to stay relatively injury free, but at least they have some insurance policies. If Chris Paul is here and James Harden misses a few games, well, Chris Paul could slide into the starting point guard spot and keep the trains running on time. This team used to be devoid of ball handling. Now they have a surplus, a glut of it. Tuca, I'm going to kick your ass. Look at this. Would you stop it? Hey, hi. Stop scratching me. There's only one claw, and it's Kawhi. Stand down. I play with her too much, and she doesn't know when to turn it off. The vibes are going to be in an all-time high if Chris Paul is back. Like the jerseys that are going to be out. I know some of Clipper Nation had soured on him with the way he left, talking about the culture and then what he did to them in Game 6 in the Western Conference Finals. Who cares? Chris Paul is our guy and arguably the greatest Clipper ever. I would celebrate him being back immediately. There would be no bad feelings. I would welcome him with open arms. CP3, come on back. Come on back. Make it official. It looks like it's all but official with the way Lawrence Frank just talked about it. I don't even know if I need to do another show if it becomes official today. CP3, yes, he's 40. He played all 82 games and played 28 minutes a night last year. What if he's only playing 15 minutes a night as a Clipper at most? You wouldn't sign up for that? You ramp down the minutes, guys can, even at an older age, up the intensity and the performance level. Same thing that I've been talking about with Brook Lopez. Like you can get more out of guys at a productivity level. They can go harder because they're playing less minutes, even though they're older. I just love the way Lawrence Frank talked about defining roles, letting people know, and making it clear from the beginning this is what it is. Your reserve is an insurance policy. You just can't guarantee minutes to anybody. But with a team this old, it's likely going to take everybody to get this done. You're going to be playing at some point. Bradley Beal has averaged missing 29 games per season the last 2 years. We know Kawhi's situation. James Harden, I don't know if he can play 79 games like he did last season at as many minutes as he played. I don't think you want that. You want him as fresh as possible for the playoffs. Ramp down the minutes there. Even if Ivica Zubac, if they ramp it down by a minute or two per game because they have Brook Lopez, that is fine with me. Keep everybody fresh. Cycle guys in. John Collins, he mostly wasn't playing because the Utah Jazz just they weren't playing for anything but trying to get a higher lottery pick. Ended up with Ace Bailey. took the chance. Could you stop? What? She's going after the keyboard. Tuka. Hey. Now, you took away my spot for my laptop. All right, I'm putting her down. Not like that. I'm not going to the vet. I'd put her onto the floor. She's 1, not even. Less than a year old. All right. I am on a high right now. I am super excited for this season, guys. I'm so stoked. I'm so happy for this Clippers organization, the moves they made, just the culture they're building, James Harden out there recruiting, Lawrence Frank addressing all these issues, bringing in John Collins, the fan favorite, before he even put on a uniform with the Clippers. The positivity going on with Kawhi and having a healthy offseason to train, to get back to looking more like he did 23-24 season, I think. This is just wow. This is one of the best off seasons in franchise history. Now just need a little injury luck, a little matchup luck. They can make a run. They can do this. They look like a top 4 team in the West to me. And I think they really can. At this point, healthy and ready to go, they can match up with anyone. I do. I think that. I did not think I'd be saying that this offseason. I thought I'd be having to say, well, Houston and Denver got so much better. I just don't know if the Clippers could compete with those teams. Now I feel like they can. Time will tell. It takes a little bit. Get the fuck. It takes a little bit more luck when you have a team that's older. But the optionality and the different ways that they can play and the different lineups that they can throw out there, you need a creative mind like Coach Lou to make this work. They've had 14 straight winning seasons, longest current run in the NBA. We're still waiting for the Larry OB. Could this be our year? Could CP3 have some more great Clippers moments like we saw in the past? You know what's funny to me? We always think of the game winner in Game 7 over the San Antonio Spurs, over the outstretched arm of Tim Duncan by CP3. Nobody remembers what was a Game 2 against the Grizzlies, the game winner he hit in 2013. Maybe because they lost that series. Could we have, with the unction, the Unk squad, some more magic? Because I look at it like this. The level of talent is there. The age is there also. If everybody can elevate the guy next to them, they can bring out closer to a prime version of that teammate. For instance, if you're making life easier on everyone out there, you have guys that have more energy in the tank, and therefore they're able to perform at a higher level the way they used to. If they have to do less because the team is so stacked, can they play closer to their prime level? Kawhi, Harden, Brook Lopez, CP3, these older guys. Yes, I guess I'm already counting on CP3 being here. You heard from Lawrence Frank. If you're sharing the burden with that many guys who are capable, it makes life so much easier. And therefore, even though there are guys who are a little bit past their prime, some more than a little bit, you can get the best version of them. People are already asking, do you think we beat Denver next season in the playoffs? I'm here for the matchup. They got Zoo Brooke Lopez and John Collins they can throw now at Nikola Jokic. They got everything you need. I definitely think they beat last year's version of the Denver Nuggets with this Clippers team. We got to see this year's version of Denver. Cam Johnson has his own injury concerns. Jonas Valanciunas, I think, is a little bit overrated in some ways. He's not a great defender. He gets cooked in the pick and roll. He'd be, yes, their best backup center in a while, but I don't think he's not as good as Brooke Lopez. Bruce Brown was a very nice pickup for them for the veterans minimum. Tim Hardaway Jr. Same thing. See, this is the same guy who was calling about Coach Lou earlier and saying all these negative things about the Clippers. I think we beat Denver in 5. Jokic stinks. This take stinks. You're in timeout for that stupid ass. I'm sorry. The guy who I consider the best player in the world, he stinks. At worst, he's second. All right. It looks like CP3 is coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Nothing is promised, guys. But you want a real shot to contend. And for the Clippers to have this strong of a roster while being under not just the second apron, the first apron, remarkable work by this front office. Thank you, James Harden, for the recruiting with Bradley Beal. And they are learning from their mistakes in the past with overpromising when it comes to selling guys on what their role will be. It's clearly outlined now. It's a reserve role. CP3 comes here. He's got to know he's not starting. He may not be playing some nights. He, Bogey, Batum, you may not be playing some nights. They're too deep. But there's going to be injuries along the way. You're going to get an opportunity. It's just inevitable. It happens. So be prepared. Stay ready, Clippers. And my goodness, this team is loaded. Lawrence, Frank. What I say the other day? Lawrence Frank cooking the haters. He is. L. Frank. It's on a generational run. You can see how excited he is by the way he answered that question. Law accidentally said, if you signed Bradley Beal, would you sign Bradley Beal? He meant CP3, and Lawrence Frank's like, yes. Very enthusiastic. He's ready. Everybody's pumped. Let's go. Clipper Nation. I'm Adam Moslin. Looks like CP3's on the way. Be shocked if it doesn't happen. You've been listening to Clippers Talk. I have to discipline a cat.